Hey there, Bruce, and welcome back to the Game of Fortune. We're in our final game here, and we are now playing as Everett because Devon is gone. So this is obviously going to be the Everett ending, and I imagine we're going to end up finishing up right here in this episode. So let's carry on, shall we? She slammed her fist into the table and glared at me with those piercing blue eyes. You keep calling me a puppet, but you can't see how you're the one being controlled. Do you think you're so damn special? That just because you worked longer, that you're in some elevated status? That because Nigel revived you, that he thought you had some sacred status? He doesn't care about you. Not the way you think. You shut your mouth, girl, before I clamp it shut myself. You're just a tool, and Nigel will keep you as a tool for as long as he needs you, before tossing you out for someone better. I said silence. I jerked against the restraints of the seat, but they held firm as my anger continued to boil. If Nigel cared about you, why didn't he revive you the same year that you died? Why did he disregard your usual advice against no wishes to kill? And most of all, if he really cared about you, then why didn't he give you the thing you wanted most? Why didn't he give you immortality after he brought you back to life? It would have been easy. Could have sent a pair of people to bring you back and make you immortal, especially considering all the work you did for them. It'd be fitting. Think of the story it would tell. Work hard enough for us, and even if you die, we'll bring you back, immortal, undying, graced by the gifts of our goddess. But they didn't. Nigel didn't want to waste a wish like that on you. Because he needed a tool, a puppet, someone he could control with a promise. Just like he does with everyone else in this damn cult. You're not special. You're just like everyone else. No, you're worse. You've tricked yourself into thinking you're special. That you somehow have a special standing that'll get you brownie points. But you're not. You're going to slave yourself over this damn cult just like everyone else, and you're going to get nothing out of it. Absolutely dick fucking nothing. You goddamn brainless zombie, shambling around with no real purpose. You're just driven by this vague hunger that you'll spend your entire undead life wandering around from. Go ahead, think that you're special. Waste away like the damn zombie you are. Maybe when someone shoots you in the head with a bullet of truth, you'll finally wake up and realize how pointless you are. I wanted to tear these restraints off. I wanted to pick up this damn table and crush Kishi's skull in with a single blow. But I could do better. She made it plain this day she wasn't on my side. She wasn't on my team. She never was. She's working with Alphonse. She has to be. Which means she didn't pick 100. She picked some other high number. It was just a bait. A way to get me to foolishly select it myself. I can see their mind games. Every single damn one. She probably picked 99. The one right before 100. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that Alphonse must have picked a number that's just below that too. Yes, that's it. He picked 98. This is their plan the whole time, to get me to foolishly pick 100. And then both of their high percentage shots that have a near guaranteed chance of killing one another. And then I'd be stuck killing the last survivor, making me the victor. That's it. I've solved the puzzle. I figured everything out. My finger rushed over toward the screen. I knew what I had to pick. You two almost had me. You two almost had me there. But I saw through your ruse. Through your skillful little play, your attempt at fooling me into thinking we were sworn enemies. All I had to do was break that illusion. To break that illusion was hit you where it hurts, and your true colours showed, Kishi. When this is all over, I'm going to relish in taking you and Kana down. Everyone in your sect will be properly punished. Nigel will recognise me as a hero. I'll take Kana's place. I'll get what I deserve. Then you'll see. Then you'll see who the puppet is. Then you'll see who's in control, who's pulling the strings. It'll be me, Kishi, me. Nigel and I will have complete control over everything. Dear God, he's lost it. Ugh. Shit. Why did I say all of that? Alright, so villain monologue out of the way. You've all chosen your charge numbers, so let's get to the firing phase. It's too late now, Kishi, to try and pull the wool over my eyes. I'm going to remember this time and time again through each loop and ensure that you, Zeph, Alphonse, and Maria fall. I swear upon it, I won't forget this feeling. Hey, don't interrupt me, Everett. My apologies, Belle. If I may have lost myself, momentarily there. Euphoria is a powerful sensation. I'm well aware, but please let me finish. Going first with the lowest charge of 97 is Everett. I leaned contently in the back of my chair, already having my finger ready to strike down Kishi for when my turn approached. That's right. This is how it was always meant to be. Well, you two tried your best, but like I said, I wasn't going to fall for this. I moved my finger to the screen to attack Kishi. It would nearly be guaranteed to work. And then, of course, Alphonse would have no choice but to kill me. But he declared he'd be declared the winner of the game. All I had to do was, of 75 as Alphonse, select Kishi and... What? I was pulled out of my delusions. No, that wasn't right. I was ripped from them. Belle's words tearing me apart from the mental construction I had in my mind. I was forced to focus on the words echoing in my head over and over and over again. Going first with the lowest charge of 75 is Alphonse. Going first with the lowest charge of 75 is Alphonse. Going first with the lowest charge of 75 is Alphonse. What? But the charge... My eyes had glazed over. I couldn't understand what was going on. 75? He chose 75? Why did he choose 75? You're supposed to pick 98. That's what he should have chosen, right? Did I read this wrong? Where did I go wrong? What did I not calculate? Was Kishi with me? Against me? Did I overpredict? Underpredict? What number did Kishi pick? What number was I supposed to pick? My mired thoughts were only brought back to focus as Alphonse mockingly clapped his hands together and let out a soft chuckle. Damn, what a show you two put on. Man, I didn't think it'd be that easy, you know? Well, good job, Kishi. You played your part well, but now it's time for you to pass on. Don't act like we were working together. Everett, I swear we weren't. I just said all those mean things because... Her pathetic excuse was cut short as their table began to ominously beep. Well, I guess this isn't foolproof. Still a 25% chance she ends up surviving this. Everett, I'm not your enemy. Please believe me, I'm not your... And again her words were cut short by the flash of white light and sudden boom that devoured any other sound in the room. Well, looks like that attack connected alright. Devon and Kishi are now both down for the count. Let's move on now, shall we? Following Alphonse. Well, there's only one person left. With a score of 97, it's Everett's turn to attack. 97? You really thought I was going to try and go for 98? Let me guess. You thought that Kishi picked 99 and not 100. And that I would in turn pick 98, and then we try to trick you into selecting 100, and we'd have you as our winner. Sound about right? Then did Kishi... Did she pick 100? Was she on your side this whole time? Did she just lash out at you because you pissed her off enough? Or did she pick 99, intending to deceive you, and tried a last-ditch effort to cover up her betrayal, so there wouldn't be bad blood? I'm not telling you. Figure things out your damn self. But... I'll say this much though, your paranoia ain't really off that much. You do have a traitor. Is it Kishi? Is it Teresa? Is it Zeph? Is it someone else? Again, you're gonna have to figure that shit out yourself. The more I tried to wrap my head around what happened, the more confused I became. I couldn't ascertain the truth from lies. Was Kishi on my side? Was she against me? What number did she pick? Should I have trusted her? Or would that have led me to the same outcome? Why was it so hard to determine what was truth and what was a lie spun by this gruff arsehole? Either way, I'd have to do something. Or maybe I could do nothing? Belle, I refused to attack. I had a feeling something like this would happen again. You know you both are ruining the spirit of the competition. Well, I'm just playing my own way. Playing my own way? More like playing to lose, you chump. Call it what you will. Either way, there's only two of you, so naturally you have no choice but to attack Alphonse. Let's see if you manage to strike Alphonse properly. No. But Alphonse's table was already blinking before I could protest further. Belle, please don't do this. Don't be such a bitch. Maybe you'll get lucky. It's a 3% chance you fail here. Stranger things have happened. I closed my eyes and prayed. Prayed that somehow Alphonse wouldn't die. Prayed that somehow he'd end up killing me in a later round. Please, please, please. I've come too far to fail here. I've invested too much of my life to fail. Belle, answer my prayers. Deliver me from this madness. Give me the result that I desire. I hear you. Belle's voice rang in my head and I opened my eyes to see her innocently looking in my direction as the desk continued to blink. I hear you loud and clear. Then, fortune is on your side. You will get the result that you have earned. The familiar flash of white and familiar echoing explosion wiped my mind clear. This was the result that I had earned. This was the result that I was given. Even before my eyes adjusted to the blinding lights, I slumped in my seat. Alphonse was dead. Kishi was dead. Devon was dead. And I was the winner. I'd won the game of fortune. And it was over. I could feel the restraints ease off my body. I could hear fanfare music playing in the room. Belle was excitedly cheering and smiling as if this were the happiest day in the world, but I just sat there, empty, motionless, a husk, lost in the mire of my own thoughts, trying to figure out what the hell this was all for now. Nothing mattered. I'd failed. Through victory, I had failed. I'd never get an opportunity like this again. It was over. It was all over. I didn't know how long I sat there, my consciousness becoming a blur of sensations and thoughts. Someone had picked me up, leading me, walking me somewhere. Eventually I could feel something like sunshine on my skin, wind brushing through my hair, grass tickling the bottom of my legs. Then I was seated down, still lifeless like a doll being propped up on a stage. And then I felt something warm trickle into my mouth, down my throat, and slowly start to warm my body up. like a bonfire blazing in my soul, slowly heating my heart and flowing across my entire body. I could taste a sweet but sharp flavour blooming in my mouth, an indescribably familiar flavour that was the final key in waking me up from my empty stupor. But it did little to ease the emptiness in my mind. I slowly raised my gaze up to see Belle sitting across from me at the table, putting down a cup in front of me. You know, you're a lot heavier than you look, and you do look really heavy, Everett. Now, that's no big deal. I don't mind carrying Victor's here. It's a good workout, you know? And even pouring tea down your throat, well, think of it as a complimentary service, free of charge. But a key to say thank you? Why are you mocking me? Mocking you? Everett, I'm praising you. You're a victor, and victors deserve praise, rewards, and wishes. Now, Victor, that's wrong. That's dead wrong. That's funny coming from someone who I revived 4 years ago. Dead wrong, huh? What makes you think that you're not a victor? You did win, didn't you? I'm not a victor, I'm a failure. I've let Nigel down, and he's never going to forgive me for it. This was my chance to prove I could protect him, that I was ultimately reliable, that he'd want me around forever. Even if Teresa finishes the job, even if she does everything perfectly, I'll have failed mine on my part. He'll never let me have it. He'll never let me get my immortality. I mean, you can wish for it right now. Everett, it's so sad to see you in such a pitiful state. And there's plenty to criticize. You lack a bond with Teresa. It's dreadful. You two can't even communicate or sense one another after deaths. What? You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? You never heard that voice trying to aid you, that gut feeling pulling you in the right direction. I'm sure you and Teresa, if you and Teresa are on better terms, more amicable terms, then maybe you've gotten the result you wanted, but, well, perhaps it's for the best. I feel that she'd be a more antagonistic force to you than a helpful one. But beside that, it's a shame to see you acting so defeated. You're always so driven, cutthroat, and cunning. Even when you were dead, all you could talk about was wanting to return to the land of the living and proving yourself. Don't speak such nonsense. I don't remember being dead. There's nothing. There's just oblivion. Oblivion, you say? And yet you return from oblivion. Perhaps you just don't remember it. Maybe you'll never remember it, until you die again. By the way, I've still not received my thank you for bringing you back to the land of the living. I feel like that's something you should at least be grateful for. What's the use? I'm a dead man anyway. I'll waste my wish here, then Kishi, Zeph, Maria and Alphonse will execute Nigel and elevate Carter to the head of the Digits of Eden. A man like me, I'll be swiftly disposed of. Can't have any old loyalists around. Even if Teresa succeeds, the best she can do is keep Nigel alive, but he'd be powerless. I bet they kill him before we even return. It's the same result either way. Are you really sure that that's the determined outcome? I mean, when you think about it, there are still plenty of prayers left, plenty of wishes to be made. What's to say that you couldn't convince someone to change their initial wish to something you'd prefer? What are you suggesting? Oh, I'm suggesting nothing. I'm just saying if you think about it, it's really just a numbers game. A numbers game? Yes, I see what you mean. A numbers game. Right now I'm at a disadvantage because it's 2 wishes against 4. But if I can force certain wishes and gain more, I can change that imbalance. Who's left? What was on the picture? That's right, Clyde, Devon, Philip, Lilith, Grant, and Jade already had their wishes granted. That left Alphonse, Maria, Kishi, Zeph, Therese, Laura, Richard, Elizabeth, William, and myself. Who can I influence? Certainly not Alphonse, Maria, Kishi, or Zeph. They're all going to follow along their own paths for sure. Teresa should already have the same goal as me, so I don't need to worry about her. That leaves Richard, Elizabeth, William, and Laura. Their motivations for their wishes were mentioned at the meeting for allowing them in. Richard wants to bring back his mother. I doubt I'll be able to sway him from that wish unless I get particularly convincing and ask him to delay his wish for now. Maybe a trade. A wish now for a wish later? William and Elizabeth are supposed to grant William's father immortality to help him overcome some illness. Quentin, I believe. Only one of them needs to actually make that wish. The other one could be influenced into helping me. Finally, there's Laura, the woman that's eager to get treatment for her child. She'll likely go and ask for immortality for her daughter, so... Wait a moment, now that I think back... That's right, Lilith had the blue clovers around her picture, and blue stands for immortality. Considering that she and Laura had no idea about what this place was coming in, then perhaps Lilith chose to grant Laura's child immortality. I doubt the two would be able to coordinate their wishes since they're in the dark on this place. If that's the case, then that should mean Laura would be free to wish for anything else. It might take a bit of explaining, but I could easily coerce that weak-willed woman into doing what, as I say. Assuming I can get either Elizabeth or William's wishes and Laura's wish, that would give me two more to work with. Now it's 4 wishes against 4 wishes. No, not quite, it's actually better. All I have to do is make the right wish myself, and I can force Kishi and Zeph to waste their wishes. Then really it'd be 3 wishes against 2. Those are drastically better odds. It nearly guarantees that Nigel will survive with his immortality intact. Yes, this is a solution that'll work. Thank you, Belle. You've given me breath of new life in more ways than one. It's my pleasure. Though if I may ask, why bother giving me this burst of inspiration? Oh, Everett, it's because you're very useful. You're an agent of conflict, the eel in the tank of guppies. You push others to perform extraordinary feats, and in turn help them to learn their own lessons. If you were to be defeated now, well, that just ruins the chance for everyone to go through their own metamorphosis, and you still need to go through a number of lessons yourself before you're completely done. Plus, I like watching you go around and mess things up for people. You're real exciting. I suppose you and Teresa have that much in common at least. I see, so even now I'm still just a tool. Well, even so, this is the path I must take. If I aim to be an agent of conflict and change, then I should do so to push my own goals. I will bribe, blackmail, threaten, promise, and influence those who I can to get what I need out of them until the last game is played. I will not stop. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. If you're ready then, are you going to ask for your wish? I am. I know the procedures, so let's just get down to it. I wish for Kana Umishima to die. A crooked smile grew on Belle's face. It was as though she had been waiting for someone to ask that of her. Well, naturally, I was the first one to ask for such a wish. Perhaps she was merely excited to put it to use, so maybe she'd already seen what kind of conflict this would stir among the other players. Her finger waggled in the air for a moment, glowing a faint white as she brought it close to the clover on the table. With a light tap, the clover glowed a faint white, and it seemed to shrivel for a moment, as though the plant itself were dying, but eventually it returned back to its normal green state. Your wish is granted. Kana Umishima is dead. Excellent, then the pieces are in order. I imagine back in the real world there's quite a commotion going on. Oh, most certainly, eh? Imagine someone dropping dead in front of you. Quite the horrifying and traumatic sight. Although, I mean, for them, they know what's going on, right? Though I do have to wonder. What? What do you truly desire? Why go through all this? Weren't you content with my brother giving you his blessing? Eternal youth is a sort of immortality, after all. It is appreciated, but eternal youth is not the same as eternal life. I can still die from illness or a lethal wound. You sound like someone paranoid. What are the odds of dying to something like that? The longer one lives, the more likely such a thing will happen. But having immortality along with this, well, it'd be perfect. True, well, I guess all you need now is to hope someone gives you that gift. Yes, well, if I do what's asked of me, surely I'll get it. All I have to do now is influence the others. But I still need to figure out how I'm going to remember all this. You're going to wipe my memory after all this, aren't you? Belle took a sip of her tea before nodding her head, but after finishing her drink she smiled coyly as she looked into her empty teacup. But you also know there's a way to recall past loops, right? A word or phrase that I heard once in another game did it for me. Then I need to hear some kind of new keyword or phrase into my mind to make it possible for me to remember. It needs to be something that can trigger early, something that happens almost every loop. But what? What? We always talk about how we'll be grouping, and what doors we'll be going through. Is that enough, though? Do I need a specific phrase, something general? What's something that's almost always said, always asked? I felt a sudden wave of fatigue wash over me. This is it, I was running out of time. I'd have to use something general, something like, who's going where? What door do you want? Who do you want to group with? Sear it into your mind, Everett, this feeling, this anger, this frustration, this hope, this disappointment. Meld it into your soul so you can retrieve it loop after loop. Don't forget this pain. Don't forget this failure. And then don't fail again. The fatigue overpowered me and I felt myself collapse onto the table. And soon darkness and rage welcomed me back to oblivion. Rest easy, Everett. This may be your ending, but it isn't quite your end. You still have plenty more work to do. A familiar sensation. But I would not lie idle in death. There was much work to be done after all. Everett End, the reborn zealot. A tireless soul worked year and year to prove himself a tool. He set his eyes on eternal life, an exemplary jewel. Alas, a fateful crash one day would change his path in life. A sudden death, a terrible end, a complex path to strife. He awoke with hunger, a determined drive from dead return to ghoul. But first he had to prove himself that he was still a useful tool. A silent threat that still remained, a ghoul protecting what he claimed. He may have stumbled and felt some shame, but this soul's not done playing this game. You're not quite done yet, Everett. You still have a role to play. You're not done learning your own lessons yet, but yours is intertwined with others. Arise, remember, and sow the chaotic discord that is needed for these games. And thus, we begin again. Everett's special notes are unlocked. I don't want to read them because he sucks. And with that, oh man, this is a short episode, but I'm going to wrap it up here because it's never a good to just start like another path with only 10 minutes left. But obviously we're going to jump back and do this path here. So not going with Everett, Teresa, and Alphonse. We'll do this one here. Obviously, we can't go this way yet. And after that, we'll jump back to here like we did with the last side. Same again. We will figure it out. Actually, maybe I'll jump back to here. And from here... Wait, followed Everett or Maria? Devon chose to join Everett. Okay, so I guess we follow Maria this time. Alright, I'm going to save it up here, and in the next one, we will follow Maria, and hopefully that'll bring us onto that other path. Till then, thanks for watching, Bruce, and I'll see you tomorrow.